Folks. Should I be excited about this? I mean, should I legit be excited about this? I mean, would you be? I mean, I'm not. This is the one fight that I actually wanted to predict wrong. This is the one fight. Okay, I legit wanted to predict this fight wrong. I wanted to. Because, I just didn't want a certain person to win. I just didn't. I just didn't want KKK to walk out of here with her hand raised. I didn't want it. I was pulling for Montana Delarosa the entire fight. I knew though that, KKK Lee was probably a more well-rounded fighter than people would give her credit for. And I knew she was more well-rounded than Montana Delarosa. But I was hoping and praying that Montana Delarosa could pull off one of those great submissions that she's done in the past. Montana Delarosa let me down. I was like, man. So round one, KKK Lee was keeping pretty good distance. She kept a jab in Montana Delarosa's face, and Montana Delarosa could not deal with that jab. So what did Montana do? She went to her strong point. She went for the takedown, which that's what she was supposed to do. However, the problem is that KKK Lee kept getting up like she was a damn jackrabbit. And I said in my head, Montana, please just keep her on the ground and you can win the round. Just keep her on the ground. It was not to be. KKK Lee got up immediately. Every time she got taken down, she was back up to her feet. And when you look at Montana Delarosa's face, I can see a lot of frustration, okay? Lots and lots of frustration, okay? That's just what it was. Because, you take somebody down and that's your strong point, and then you can't work on the ground. Well, I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. So Montana Delarosa had to be forced to strike, and that was not going so well. Montana Delarosa kept getting hit with that left jab. Then she kept getting hit with an overhand right. It was pretty much, man, Montana Delarosa striking, it got exposed in this fight. And I was telling y'all that Montana Delarosa, she's a decent striker. She's decent. She got a lot of power. But Montana Delarosa is not like the best striker, not compared to KKK Lee. This video hurts. This video hurts to make this video. But at the end of the video, I did get some pleasure out of making this video. It was a good performance by KKK Lee. I can't even take anything away from her. I'll put my personal feelings aside from this woman. And I gotta say, she put on a damn good performance. Okay, she did. She put on a damn good performance. She really, just what I was telling y'all, there is levels to this, okay? And I told y'all that KKK Lee was on a whole nother level, okay, than Montana Delarosa. Montana Delarosa, tough fighter, young, hungry competitor. And, Montana Delarosa wants to fight everybody and anybody. And I can appreciate that with a young fighter. But I can also understand that there are levels to this. And young fighters, they have to be able to get their shit together before they go taking on these giants in MMA. Because if they don't, they're going to lose and become demoralized. Now, I don't think Montana Delarosa is going to get demoralized after this fight. Montana Delarosa did do some good things in the fight. She went for a guillotine that was locked in pretty tight. But it was in the third round. And, when you try to make those submissions in the third round, they're very hard to do, especially a guillotine, because the person's sweating. They're sweating on their neck. They're sweating on the top of their scalp. So it's really hard to keep those type of, chokeholds in. And the person, more than likely, if it's in the third round or later rounds, they're going to get out of that. And that's what Andrea KKK Lee did. She got out of those guillotine attempts. And Montana Delarosa couldn't keep on the ground, long enough to really get those submission attempts. She couldn't do it. So, it kind of forced Montana Delarosa to fall back on her striking, which it wasn't doing her any service. I think Montana, I think she can bounce back from this, and I know she will. I would love to see Montana really, man, like going to camp and, maybe they can mix it up, man, and really get in there and work with some damn strikers. I'm talking about some strikers that's going to beat the hell out of her. I'm talking about beat her up every day and really get used to the fundamentals of striking, like really get used to just the little nuances of how to strike and how to be a better striker. Because Montana Delarosa, her whole game would change with that. It's just, that's the one hole in her game. It's the striking. The wrestling, though, I gotta say, I was impressed with her wrestling. Even though I thought she was, overmatched, or she was outmatched in this fight. I thought she was outmatched, but I was impressed with her wrestling. I was impressed because, she didn't stop trying to secure takedowns, and she got them. She got her takedowns. And it's just, now maybe work on, maybe, hey, what does she need to do to keep the person there? Okay, like, what does she need to do to keep that person on the ground? Like, I don't know, Andrea Lee, she's so explosive, though. KKK Lee is very explosive, so when you got these explosive types that's on the ground, it's hard to keep them there. You can't keep them there that long. It is what it is, though. And then at the end of the fight, they asked KKK Lee, of course, she won. It was a unanimous decision. I don't even think KKK Lee lost a single round, okay? That's just what it was. But I started laughing at the end, though. They asked her, who does she want to fight next? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I don't like to call anybody out. And the crowd started booing her. I said, yeah, damn it. I started booing KKK Lee after that. I mean, they started booing her. They said, boo. Oh, that was the happiest. That was the best part of the fight for me, booing her silly ass. Oh, well, we know who these two are not ready for. And just as what I told y'all, neither one of these two will beat Valentina Shevchenko. It's just not going to happen. They good fighters, but they can't mess with the bullet. They cannot mess with Valentina Shevchenko. Shevchenko is the queen of this division. Just what it is. These two, they're looking on the outside, looking in. The only name that matters in this division is Valentina Shevchenko. And I'm not giving a shout out to KKK Lee for winning this fight. Shout out to Montana Delarosa for making it a tough fight. I'm done.